Beginning, the joke that went too far. I never meant for it to go this far. It started as a joke, a stupid, nervous attempt to make the alien delegation laugh. The Illyrians weren't exactly known for their sense of humor. Tall, elegant, silver-skinned beings with eyes that shimmered like liquid mercury. They spoke in tones that felt both musical and commanding. I was one of the few humans allowed aboard their flagship, the Seraphist Dawn, as part of an interspecies peace initiative after the Lyri conflict. My name's Elias Varen, a communications officer for the Terran Diplomatic Corps. Translation: I talk a lot, sometimes too much. So when they asked us to participate in what they called a cultural exchange ceremony, I thought it was just a formal dinner. I didn't realize it was an ancient Illyrian bonding ritual. The leader of the delegation was Commander Serathia, daughter of the High Matriarch herself. Her reputation preceded her, a fierce warrior, strategist, and a symbol of unity for her people. I was trying not to embarrass humanity when she looked at me, silver gaze steady, and asked, "Human Elias, what do you offer to the Alliance?" My brain, in its infinite wisdom, responded with, "Well, myself, of course." The silence that followed could have frozen time. Then Serathia stepped forward, placed her hand over my heart, and said softly, "Then the offer is accepted." Everyone bowed. Everyone except me, who just stood there, mouth hanging open. The consequences of a joke. Turns out that wasn't a metaphor. According to Illyrian tradition, a covenant of union had been declared. In simple Terran terms, I had just proposed and she had accepted. The bonding wasn't just symbolic either, it was biological. Through nanites and empathic energy signatures, Illyrians could literally connect with a chosen partner's neural network, allowing shared sensations, thoughts, and even emotional resonance. It was sacred, irreversible, and typically only done between life partners. I was about to become the first accidental cross-species bondmate in recorded galactic history. For the next few days I tried to fix it. I met with diplomats, translators, even the ship's medic. Everyone told me the same thing. The Illyrian High Command has already acknowledged the bond. To break it would be an insult to their entire culture. When I finally confronted Serathia, she was in the training chamber, practicing with her plasma glaive. She moved like light itself, sharp, elegant, terrifyingly precise. "Commander," I started, keeping my tone careful, "there's been a misunderstanding." She turned, her expression unreadable. "Misunderstanding? When I said I offer myself, I didn't mean it literally." Her eyes softened slightly. "Humans often hide truth within jest. Your words carried intent." Intent. I was just. She stepped closer, her voice calm but heavy with something deeper. "Our bond is not a punishment, Elias Varen. It is a gift. You offered sincerity without fear, and the Illyrian within me heard it. I didn't know how to respond to that." She walked past me, brushing my shoulder. When she did, I felt something. Pulse. Like warmth spreading through my chest. "Your heartbeat quickens," she noted without turning back. "The bond begins." That night I couldn't sleep. My thoughts felt strange. Not alone. It was like a quiet hum beneath the surface of my mind. And then, faintly, I heard her voice in my head. "You worry too much, human." Froze. "Serathia. Rest. Can feel your thoughts. We are joined now." I remember whispering to myself in the dark. I really need to stop making jokes. Continued. The connection deepens. The following week changed everything. The Illyrian fleet was en route to a contested sector near the Tethra Abyss, a volatile border zone filled with spatial anomalies. My role was to facilitate communications, But now I was also bound to their commander. First it was awkward. Whenever Sarathia entered a room, I could sense her, a quiet surge of energy in the back of my mind. If she was angry, I felt a spike of tension. If she was calm, I found myself relaxing without knowing why. During one of our joint briefings, she turned to me and said, "Do not resist the connection. It will hurt less." "You mean it hurts more?" She gave a small smile, the first I'd ever seen. "It is like breathing the same air. You cannot stop halfway." Soon I started to understand things about her that words couldn't express. Her loneliness, her burden, the pressure of leading a race that saw emotion as weakness. Beneath the armor, Sarathia wasn't just a warrior. She was someone constantly holding herself together for the sake of others. One night, while overseeing a sensor sweep near the abyss, we encountered an anomaly, a massive energy surge pulling ships off course. When one of the cruisers went dark, Sarathia made the decision instantly. "I'm going in." I grabbed her arm. "You can't. The distortion field will rip your ship apart. Then you will guide me." "What?" "Our bond allows shared perception. You will see through my eyes. Navigate for me." Before I could protest, she linked our minds completely. For a moment, I wasn't on the command deck anymore. I was her. The controls responded like extensions of my own body. I could feel the heat of the engines, the weight of her armor, even the pulse of her heart aligned with mine. Through the chaos, I guided her ship around the distortion, stabilizing the field long enough for the trapped cruiser to escape. When we emerged, the crew cheered. I was shaking, barely able to stand. Sarathia approached, her expression unreadable, and said quietly, "You did well, bondmate." I looked at her, trying to make light of it. Guess that's one way to share responsibilities. But her gaze lingered longer than it should have. "You still call it a joke?" "Maybe not anymore." Climax, the choice that defined them. Days later, disaster struck. A rogue Illyrian faction, the Ver Dominion, ambushed the fleet. They believed Sarathia's alliance with humans was a betrayal of their purity. Their attack was ruthless, targeting the Seraphist Dawn directly. Explosions rocked the ship. Systems failed. Sarathia ordered an evacuation, but the escape corridors were blocked. We were cornered. As alarms blared, she turned to me. "Elias, if the ship falls, you will die. Not without you. You don't understand. Our bond means if I die, you will too." Froze. "Wait, what?" "It is the price of unity." The hull screamed as plasma fire tore through the decks. She shoved me toward the last operational pod, but I refused. "I'm not leaving you." Her silver eyes flashed with frustration and something deeper, fear. "You are human, fragile. Why do you risk everything?" "Because you think this was all a mistake." "But I don't." For the first time, her composure broke. "You mean that?" He nodded. "Yeah. Maybe I didn't know what I was saying that day. But now I do." She stared at me for a heartbeat, then stepped forward, placing her forehead against mine. "Then we face it together." The next moment, the Dominion's flagship fired a final shot, a direct hit. Instinctively, she used the bond to shield me. Pain lanced through my body, fire and light merging into one. Then nothing. Ending, the bond that couldn't be broken. When I woke, I was in the med bay of a Terran hospital orbiting Earth. The war had ended. The Illyrian fleet survived, barely. Sarathia was nowhere to be found.